Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And if you've been around on this channel over the years, you will know just how much I love the MAUS, the tier 10 German, super heavy. It's a one of a kind, it's the heaviest vehicle in the game as well. And the kind of things that you can do with this vehicle are just staggering with its huge slab of hit points. But today is not going to be just another one of those videos where I talk about the statistics of the tank and why I absolutely adore it, right? Today is going to be doing ludicrous, ridiculous things with the MAUS, and trust me, you're going to want to see the whole video for this one. So I decided to put the soup skin, so to say, from the boys on my MAUS because, I don't know, I'm hoping that by the end of this video, I'm going to be about as smug as Homelander. We'll have to take a look to see if that's going to be the case. So, we have spawned in here on Prokhorovka. Prokhorovka against two self-propelled guns. Not really the ideal situation for a very slow, heavy tank. So I just decided to myself, why not? Why not just turn it around on this absolute campy map? Why not turn it around against the self-propelled guns on the enemy team? And why not embrace the inner scout MAUS? That's right, ladies and gents, at the start of this game, 1,773 spotting against the tier 10 Italian auto-reloading medium tank. And trust me, we're not done there. As I advance in the MAUS in this location, you'll see that I'm always making sure that I'm turning my turret. I'm keeping it at an angle. That makes the front of the MAUS's turret incredibly efficient. Also, you'll notice that I'm always driving at angles towards my opponents, and I'm never trying to leave my lower plate flush towards them. If it's angled, it's very hard for them to be able to go through. And just look at this. Look over to the left. There's an ELC even 90. He was probably sitting there thinking, oh, gee, boy, finally, Prokhorovka for a light tank, and I'm even playing with two self-propelled guns against a bunch of tier 10 vehicles. Finally a chance for me to do LT15. I'm sorry, ELC even 90. Nothing personal, but not on my watch. I'm not going to allow you to sit in that bush and do your 10,000 spotting while you just passively sit there and do nothing. Because the MAUS is coming for the enemy team. I'm coming for all of the players in this game. We're just driving recklessly into whoever we may fight. There's the 268, who managed to do a little bit of damage to us earlier on with the heat round. Well, 395 heat pen is great, 268. But what about when you're spotted by all of my team? I'm hoping that my team are going to be able to handle the Pershing that's behind me, while I then turn my attention towards the self-propelled gun on the enemy team, and I'm actually aiming in the incorrect place. He was in the bush, but boom! There we go, one less self-propelled gun to deal with, and the Progetto that we actually did most of the spotting against earlier rears his ugly head, puts a round into my lower plate, but then we managed to shut them down. Now I know there's a Kanonen Jagdpanzer in the corner, and just look at the spotting that we've managed to rack up. In the first 3 minutes of this game on Prokhorovka, we have completely just turned it around. We shoot the Kanonen Jagdpanzer, who hadn't even been spotted all battle there, yet he's starting on minus 500 hit points. Well, actually nearly minus 1,000 hit points, and we shut him down, and I can't blame someone for firing gold against a tier 10 heavy tank that's 2 tiers higher than them. That is completely the right choice for the Kanonen Jagdpanzer to make. But I still take great satisfaction when you finally do kill the players who have been firing gold at you all game. So you might be questioning, well, how is this MAUS set up? Because look at the speed that our MAUS is going. We're going at 23, sometimes 24 kilometers an hour right now. And yeah, you guessed it. I decided to put a turbocharger on the MAUS, and also the piece of equipment that increases the hit points of the vehicle to 3,300, because why wouldn't you want to make the most healthy tank even healthier, right? But more importantly, that piece of equipment also means that we don't get tracked as often. And when we do get tracked and we repair our tracks, that our tracks come back with full hit points. Actually, yeah, they do come back with full hit points. And so, yeah, by the end of this game, I think I was feeling about as smug as Homelander was feeling inside this game. Scout MAUS is only the start of this video. It's part 1. Now let's jump into part 2 as to why I also truly love the MAUS in certain situations. So here we go, part 2 of our epic adventures in the MAUS. Part 1 was kind of breaking a camp on Prokhorovka, showing what you can do with the new turbocharger on this vehicle, just increasing its speed. Honestly, the fact that the turbocharger is absolute and not relative, a lot like with what I showed you with the TOG last weekend. It impacts the MAUS in exactly the same way. being able to go from 20 to 24 is a huge upgrade. It's 20%. Whereas on something that can already go 70, maybe you go from 70 to 75, that's less than 10%. It's not such a big deal. And it does allow vehicles like this to do some just absolutely incredible things. But I've already talked about that all last week. Let's focus on what we're going to do here. And that is part 2, the MAUS returns. We stop the camp on Prokhorovka. On Paris, however, playing against 3 self-propelled guns, not such a big deal, really. It's not such a big deal to be playing against 3 self-propelled guns on Paris because, of course, you've got a lot more opportunity to be able to hide. All right, so 60 TP to my right on my team, 60 TP on the enemy team. We're going to have to see what we do against the Super Conqueror here. I'm looking to see if I can maybe try and find a funky shot on this tank. And even when he kind of angles up there, I might be able to shoot into his flanks. But instead, what I decide to do is to become kind of like a direct fire artillery here. The MAUS high explosive rounds are actually very decent indeed. They do 630 damage with 65mm of penetration. Although, yeah, that didn't quite go to plan as we, I guess, have some bad accuracy and we hit the side. But I don't know what this Super Conqueror is thinking. So I'm actually going to shoot their tracks, lock them in place, and instantly they take 734 tracking, I guess, from the 60 TP towards, maybe from above or alternatively possibly from the 277 in a combination with the T62A shells. So what I'm doing right now is using the incredible frontal armor of the MAUS to just try and bait shots from my opponents. I'm hoping they're going to just shoot the side of my vehicle. Although you do have to be a little bit careful though, because if you do that, then they can actually shoot through the side of the tracks and hit on the inside of the hull. And that is actually kind of a weak point of the MAUS. But I decide, why would I want to sit there and kind of turn this into an awkward side-scraping situation when I can try and get the high ground? And yeah, I think the eagle-eyed of you might be starting to sweat in anticipation as to what we are going to do. Do you see the vehicles below us? Oh boy, it's happening again. QuickyBaby above a T110E5 commits to the situation, hits him for about 800 damage there. Actually, that was actually me tracking him. No, it wasn't. 865 damage ram. Not quite too impressive. But look at what the Scout MAUS does here. It goes backwards at like 17 kilometers an hour. I take a little bit of damage from a gold round from the T95 and the T54. But, well, I guess job done there, really. We've established dominance. Can you imagine what the enemy team must be thinking when a MAUS would drive up a slope, jump onto a T110E5, do 200 damage to him as well as 865 ramming, and then just casually reverse away from such a huge cluster of enemy tanks? Yeah, I can only imagine what must be going through the enemy mind right now. Well, I can tell you, it's not enough to just do it once, right? What about if we go back and we do it all over again? They won't expect it a second time, right? All right, let's make a Polish pancake right now. 1,781 damage dealt there. That is enough damage to basically do an entire tank in a single little splash there. Now, we did take 700 damage from the 60 TP, and unfortunately, I couldn't really give too much of a damn because I was laughing my butt off right now over the fact that we took out that 60 TP in a second squash, meaning that in this game, out of the 3,400 damage that we dealt, we're talking about, about 2,500 damage in ramming in 4 minutes. And while unfortunately for me, the MAUS ended up on its side, and the Batchat gets to farm my lower plate, I guess laughing. Have you ever tried to shoot a MAUS's lower plate from this kind of an angle? That must be a bit of a bizarre one. Nobody was going to help me get my MAUS back on its tracks, right? Yeah, good luck trying to do that for a 200-ton tank. It's not going to work out for you. And you know what? In fact, I think that moment was too good to not have an action replay. Did you see the 60 TP? Feels like he just went into the ground there for a second, as you probably would do with having a MAUS literally dropping about 5 meters on top of your tank. And that, ladies and gents, the last 2 games, which happened one after another, is why the MAUS is simply the best tank in World of Tanks. You can do stupid things, but also still remain pretty competitive at the same time. So Scout MAUS on Prokhorovka, we got a steel wall medal here, as would be expected. We finished second on experience with 5 4,000 spotting. And yeah, my heart goes out to the ELC even 90 on the enemy team, because before we managed to out-scout the most sneaky and best camera rating tank in the game at high tier, they'd already managed to do 4,000 spotting. And then we followed it up on Paris, finishing once again second on experience with 911 base experience, and I'm pretty sure the 60 TP on the enemy team would have actually had to call the police after the crime that we committed to them from above, as the MAUS transcended from being scout MAUS on Prokhorovka to, I guess, like orbital bombard from above strike MAUS, aka mouse bomb, as we have done that quite a few times from that position before. And so there's a few things that I want you to take from this video. One, the turbocharger on the MAUS is epic, and I thoroughly recommend it. It revolutionizes the way that you can play slow tanks. Two, the MAUS is just incredible. It really is genuinely one of, if not the best tier 10 heavy tanks, if you just want to have fun, but also still sometimes have profound impacts in the game. And thirdly, never forget that that is what is most important in World of Tanks. Sure, try to win, but also make sure you have fun doing so. And so, ladies and gents, I hope all of you had just that with this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, I've got a very special stream for you today, and that is because Wargaming decided to give me the keys to a super special Waffenträger Auf E100 for the final day of the event, called the E220. What this Waffenträger Auf E100 does is it actually drops things. It drops loot crates for all of the players that play against me, if, of course, they manage to defeat me. But I might possibly be trying to not win occasionally. I mean, of course, I'm going to try my heart out. And so come along right now. Sign up on the European server. I'll be playing on EU1. Play against me and then take me out, and then you can get yourself one of Wargaming's loot crates, aka the footlockers, which I featured on the channel a couple of weeks ago. And if you're not interested in this, but you're interested in my regular content on Sunday, which is my tech tree showcase, then tonight I'm going to be playing through to the WZ-111 5A, so you can get a look at all of the Chinese heavy tanks. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. Either you're going to be trying to hunt me on the battlefield in the WT Alf E220, or seeing you there for the tech tree showcase. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, ladies and gents, and hopefully I'll see you all soon.